Hello the internet! It is Thursday the 12th of December 2024 and welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to Crookhaven Heads for a very special beverage review. Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola in a can, premixed RTD style in Australia. What? Calm down, calm down, calm down. This is an imported version of this product. It's the 2024 right now. We first heard about this getting a local release in 2022, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Is it going to happen? Nobody knows. I grow tired of waiting. I'm always doing little searches online, and I just did a little searchy search for this, and it came up. You can purchase it in Australia through a couple of different places. Dick Smith, of all places. You can get it through catch.com.au. They're obviously importing a certain amount of them and then on-selling them for a profit. There's a lot to talk about though, a lot to talk about. So let's crack it, taste it, and then of course we're going to compare it. But what can we compare this to? What could we possibly compare Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola to? I know what you're thinking. Let's sit down and crack this sucker. All right, I'm looking forward to this. Ooh, no real fizz in that. No fizz, huh? Okay. What? Okay, the very first thing that needs to be noted here, this version of this product from Japan is 7% ABV, 7% by volume. The one we're going to be getting in Australia is going to be our standard 4.8. So this has more Jack Daniels than the one that we're going to be getting. With that in mind, you know what's happening here? How do I broach this subject? This is mixed with Coca-Cola sans caffeine. Caffeine-free Coca-Cola. That is a huge factor, right? If you're gonna mix Jack and Coke, typically you will go and get full strength Coke, right? The gnarly, the sugar one, right? You're not gonna get Diet Coke, you're not gonna get zero sugar, you're not gonna get zero caffeine, you're gonna get Coke. For some reason, the only English on this can, aside from the branding Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola, there is English wording, zero caffeine. With that in mind, this does not taste like Jack and Coke that you'd make at a backyard piss up or at home comfortably on your couch, wherever you choose to drink Jack and Coke. This does not taste like that because no caffeine. I don't understand why they would have done that. That is perplexing, but that's the matter of fact. The other wording on here in Japanese, via the Translate app on the telephone, I'm gonna tell you what that says. Translate? It says caution, please drink it cold. Check. Please store away from high temperatures and direct sunlight. Check. Please add the impact. Open. It leads to eruption at the time of canning, container damage, and poor sealing. Do not freeze. It leads to container damage, separation, and precipitation of ingredients. Yeah. Please drink immediately after opening the can. Immediately in one hit? Calm down, Japan. Drinking and driving under the age of 20 are prohibited by law. 20, okay. Drinking during pregnancy and lactation may have a negative impact on the development of the fetus and infant. Alcohol at the age of 20 after becoming. Okay, I know what it means, but it's worded poorly. Nutrition facts label 100 ml per hit. Energy 86 calories, protein 0. Lipids 0, carbohydrates 11.5, salt equivalent 0, caffeine 0. Jack Daniels, E-told number 7, Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Registered trademark of Coca-Cola. The Kiola Cola Company says, please recycle it. Thank you as always. Nice to meet you. This can is recycling. There's one more side. This says product name liqueur, Phobal 1. Original ingredient name whiskey, fructose, grapes, sugar, liquid sugar, made in Japan. Made. Carbonic acid, caramel coloring, acidulant flavoring, alco, 7% of the contents. Contents amount 350 ml. Taste. At the bottom of the deadline can, description manufacturer, Coca-Cola Bot, Lars, Japan Co. Limited, Al Akasaka, Minatu-ku, Tokyo. The upper left of the bottom of the can is factory specific symbol, contains carbon dioxide. So there are all the finer details of the can. Of course, to compare this in Australia, because we don't have this product, all we can do is compare it to Ye Old Faithful Jack and Cola. The main difference here and the excitement over this product is that this is actual Coca-Cola, whereas this is just a cola variant, a sugar mix that I guess Brown-Forman make in the factory, whereas this they've actually paired it with legitimate Coca-Cola. The taste should be a world of difference. Let us see. Ye Old Faithful, we know what this is all about. Do you know what? There's not much difference there. There's not a lot of difference going on here. Not a lot of difference. That's weird. I was expecting worlds apart. I'm gonna go as far as to say this. If you put these in glasses and didn't tell me which was which, I'd have no hope of telling you. They are so similar. That is weird. No, there's no way I could tell. That is strange. Isn't that strange? We've been waiting so long for this, and once it's here, it's got no caffeine, and it tastes the same as this. Okay, so what's going on here? Why isn't this rad? This should be rad. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm gonna put them in a glass and just compare the look of them. These lovely Jack Daniels glasses that my sister and James got me this time last year for Christmas. I'm going to use both of them. To make it nice and even or obvious, brand new Jack and Coke will be in the right-hand glass. Old school regular Jack and Cola, left-hand glass. Some ice. One block of ice, one block of ice. Kind of looks a little dull, doesn't it? A little dullskis. Okay, and there's a difference there. This looks a little flatter. I'm disappointed and I'm confused. Why do these not taste different? The only way I would be able to tell you that this is Jack and Coca-Cola and that this is Jack and Cola, the only way I could tell is that this one seems like it's less fizzy. Maybe it's in transit, it lost its carbonation, but this one is not as fizzy, and that is the only thing that is separating these right now. Yeah, that is a massive letdown. I'm just saying, that is a huge letdown. I just thought it would be so much radder, and it's not. What a disappointment. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to have the pairing of two iconic brands, such as Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. I mean, we've known about Jack and Coke forever, right? Everybody does it, everybody knows it, but now you can, well, soon you can go and buy it on the shelf. Once this comes to Australia, are these gonna be removed? So once this hits our shores locally, is that gonna replace this? Or is this going to be marked up as a premium product and this will be like the cheaper one? I don't know. The obvious thing to do would be to mix a Jack and Coke ourselves and compare, right? That's the obvious thing to do. So to do that, we're going to need two ingredients. We're going to need a bottle of Jack. I'm going to need a bottle of Coke. This is where my brain wouldn't calculate things correctly. So I relied on ChatGPT. I wanted to make sure I was pouring a 7% mix. This is 7%, so if we're going to make our own, we got to make sure we're mixing 7% by volume. So I asked ChatGPT, because I've got no idea how this shit works. I failed everything at school, including math. My initial request was, how would I prepare a beverage that is exactly 7% Jack Daniels and then 93% Coca-Cola, the remainder, given the beverage size is 250 ml, and that's the size of a glass? ChatGPT responded, to prepare a 250 ml beverage that is exactly 7% Jack and 93% Coke, number one, calculate the volume of Jack. The formula is Jack Daniels volume equals 7% divided by 100 times by 250 equals 17.5 mil. Calculate the volume of the Coke. Coke volume is 93% divided by 100 times by 250, 232 mil. Measure 17.5 mil of Jack and pour it into your glass. Measure 232.5 mil of Coke and pour it into the glass. Stir gently. There you go. So then I changed the idea because I thought, well, hang on a second. That's going to fill this glass to the very top. We don't want that. So I then decided, well, I want to make certain that I get the Jack exactly right. You know, the percentage has got to be right. So I said, change it so the Jack Daniels volume is exactly 15 mil. And the reason I chose that because Shyla Rose, a long time ago, Shyla gave me a cocktail mixing kit, which includes cocktail mixing gear, and in there, a measuring cylinder, a 15mm and a 30mm. If I can get one level playing field of Jack in there, that will be into the, and then the rest would be Coke, and we could then put it into the glass. So then ChatGPT responds, if the Jack Daniel's volume is fixed at 15ml, we need to calculate the total beverage size and the corresponding Coca-Cola volume to maintain the desired ratio. Now this is all stuff that escaped me in high school and up until the moment I learned about ChatGPT, to be honest. Jack Daniel's percentage. Jack Daniel's is 7% of the total beverage volume, so let the total beverage volume be V, right? We're solving for V. I do remember this in high school. Solve, like find X, right? Solve for V. So 7% times V equals 15ml. We know that because we've already said we're gonna make it 15ml. So V equals 15 divided by 0.07, which you have to just trust the science that 7% is 0.07. I don't know why that is, but 214.29ml of the total volume, beverage volume. Okay, fair enough. Trust it. Number 2, Coke volume. Coke makes up 93% of the total beverage volume, so equals 93% times 214.29 equals 100. I just got to trust that that's working. I don't know. So the final recipe, 15ml of Jack and measure 199.29ml of Coke. One of these is 15ml. That's 30, so you'd need 6.5 of these to get 100 or 200 mils of Coke. You combine them for the total beverage volume of 214 mil, which would fit into a glass easily. So let's prepare an exact 7% Jack and Coke measure. Fresh bottle of Jack here. We only want this to the top, 15 milses. 15 mils. Now we need 6.5 measures of 30 ml of Coke. There's one measure, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might not be an exact science because of the frothing up. There's 6.5. In this canister, we have a 7% Jack by volume. This glass on the left is the Jack and Coke that you'd mix yourself. Now it's gonna overflow maybe. No, the ice kept it right to the top. Okay, perfect. This glass has the remainder of this can. So what we should now have is theoretically the same thing, except we know we don't, because this guy has no caffeine. You cannot buy Coca-Cola with no caffeine. I paused there because I know someone's gonna go, of course you can. You cannot buy Coca-Cola with no caffeine and sugar. You used to be able to buy it. It's a very exclusive beverage, that one. Jack, 0 caffeine with sugar. Did I say Jack? I meant Coke, 0 caffeine with sugar is actually called 0 caffeine Coke Classic. And they've long since removed it from the market. You can get 0 caffeine, but it also has 0 sugar. So what we want is 0 caffeine with sugar, because we've already read the Japanese writing on the back of this can that says it's got sugar. It's got 0 caffeine, but it's got sugar. We can't really fairly compare it, but this is the closest we can freaking well get. So get off my case, get out of the comments and calm your tits. Here is the Jack and Coke from Japan. Here is the Jack and Coke from my local store. We know what this is gonna taste like. It's gonna be rad. It needs more Jack, but it's good. Oh, it's great. That's exactly what I thought this would taste like. Wait, kind of does. Hold on a second. No. There's something, okay. I got a little freak out then. There's a difference. The difference is this weird, with the actual Coke, there's a weirder, what is that? It's like I can't even kind of tell you what, it's like, there's a familiar aftertaste that happens with Jack and Coke. Get out of there. Something like the banana flavors of the Jack comes out like stronger or something. With the pre-mixed, you get this weirder, yeah, there's there's a distinct aftertaste with the mix that you mixed yourself with the store-bought, or the, how are we going to define these? The Heisenberg and the Tuco. I don't know, that's not a good, yeah, there's something distinctly different here. Oh, shit. It's the caffeine. The thing that's missing, the caffeine, of course. So what does caffeine taste like? Does caffeine have a taste? Let me ask ChatGPT. Oh, shit. Here we go. Yes. Caffeine has a distinct taste. It is naturally bitter, which is why many caffeinated beverages such as coffee, tea, and energy drinks often include sugar, cream, or other flavorings to balance the bitterness. Is that what we got? I mean, if it's bitter, it's only very slightly bitter. I wouldn't have gone with bitter. Okay? I wouldn't have hit bitter unless I read this. Now I'm hitting it because I'm reading it. Oh, it's really bitter, man. Yeah, it's really bitter when you do that. It's the caffeine, man. It says here, the taste of caffeine can vary slightly depending on its source. For example, coffee beans, tea leaves, or synthetic caffeine, which I guess this would be. However, in its pure form, caffeine is extremely bitter and unpleasant to most people. Well, shit me. Wow. There is a huge, obvious aftertaste with Heisenberg. Tuco has just this kind of so similar to the Jack and Cola. It's not funny. This guy, it's so similar. It's a shame. I had real high hopes for this, but that feels to me like an absolute flop. Maybe that's why it hasn't opened in the Australian market, because let's not forget that Australia is the market for RTDs. Australia, pre-mixed RTD, ready to drink, this is where it all happens. We've got so many of them, right? In fact, I think Two Dogs. Australia, South Australia, Adelaide was the first place that it ever existed, a ready to drink Two Dogs. Does anybody remember Two Dogs from the 90s? I sure as hell do. Two Dogs, and then I think there was Sub-Zero. Mike's Hard Lemonade, but that was also the American. Anyway, what I'm illustrating, or what I'm getting to, is that if we have such a huge market in this country for ready to drink pre-mixed drinks, they're testing it. I mean, Mexico was the first place that Jack Daniel's brought this beverage out. Mexico. So they're maybe doing, why wouldn't you do it here? We love it. Why didn't they do it here? I don't know. We probably, maybe that's why we're not getting it, because we'd probably like laugh at it. I don't know, like at this particular juncture, I would say if you want a Jack and Coke, do that, go and buy it. If you can't be fucked and you're lazy and you just want it nice and simple, go and get one of these or these. They're both the same. It's not, I wanted this to be absolutely fantastic, and I wanted to go and order more of them. That's how. At this point, I wouldn't recommend buying them, because you're paying a premium for a thing that may or may not still make it to Australia, but it's not that great anyway. I'm sorry to be the downer here. It's just the way it is. There's other products in the lineup that are great. I'd suggest you try those. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. This is the one I'm going to stick with. You know it. Can I do this now? It needs to be more than 7%. At least the Germans get 10. Come on, give us a bit more. Measuring it out with a measuring cylinder. Who the hell do you think? Come on, who takes measuring cylinders? Yeah.